was a song called Apathy from their debut album, debuted in 2011. And I have Angus here in the studio with me. Welcome to CJTR.
Thanks for having me.
And you've been here before. You've been a guest of Redbeard's.
Yes,
the
yes.
illustrious Redbeard. Wonderful, wonderful album.
Thank you.
Really rich tones, very powerful, high impact. The evolution of your sound, you were aiming, or at least the founder of the band, I believe, was Chris. Is that correct?
Chris was one of the founding members, yeah.
And he had teamed up. Well, he had joined with Kevin. Is that correct?
Yeah, Kevin Schmallenberg.
Right. And as wonderful as that was, Chris was looking for a deeper sound, a richer sound,
Yeah.
a harder sound.
Yeah, absolutely. He came looking for us, or not looking for us necessarily, but he was looking for a bit more of a hard rock sound. He was really into Dream Theater and a lot of the metal bands at the time, and I just happened to be looking for a band as well, so Kevin introduced us, and that was kind of the start. So.
And you play bass.
Yes.
So that's a very important part of the band and the new sound.
Absolutely, yeah.
The harder sound, the deeper sound. Dream Theater, you said, is the sound that you're inspired by, and tremendous job. With this is metal. We're calling it metal.
Yeah.
And it's a cross between hard rock and metal.
Yeah.
It's got great rhythm. It's got great form and really good structure to it, so that listening to it, it really has it really resonates well. I know when people hear the description metal, they think they may not be able to if they're not familiar with metal or whatever. So this is like when I hear Black Sabbath as well, and when I hear these sounds, they do resonate really well if you love hard rock.
Absolutely.
Rob Zombie, it's another.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that was one of the things that we really wanted to work on when we were trying to find our sound. We wanted to find something that wasn't going to be too, too offensive to the ear. Not necessarily offensive, but something that people wouldn't be turned off by, but at the same time something that would be hard enough that we could just still sort of classify ourselves as that genre. So
Exactly. That's why the importance of having as hard of a sound as you can, and still call it, and still have that roots in rock, which has its roots in blues, and that really comes through.
Absolutely.
Your band has made its debut in 2011. You're performing in town here prior to that, but really that was a nice breakthrough time recording this particular album, bringing this out. Now this album, the quality of it is just top notch. It's just coming through very, very well across the airwaves. And we have to, I'd like you to mention a little bit about how that came about, how you got this superb recording, producing.
Our drummer, Chris's dad, our drummer's dad, Jim, he knew John Bedochka from, they were old friends, and he asked him if he would weigh in and just sort of give his opinion on whether or not we would be ready to record an album. And John had expressed an interest if we were ready, but he was more than willing to tell us that we weren't even close. So he came in and listened to us, and he was pretty much like, yeah, these guys should have been recording an album like a couple months ago. Like they're ready to go. They're really ready to go. So John worked with us, and the rest is history. He pretty much got us the sound, and this is what we're known for, and it's a lot of that is because of John. He really made it work.
And some of us who are close in the music industry and in the music scene know John's presence in the music scene,
right,
and the contributions he makes behind the scenes, and his credibility is right up there. And you're right. If he felt the band wasn't ready, he would say so.
Oh, yeah.
His name is on the label as well. So if he says you're ready, you're ready.
Yeah.
And Redbeard too. So that's another kudos. When Redbeard brings someone onto his show.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we probably wouldn't have been where we are if it wasn't for those two just totally supporting us. So, seriously, big thanks to both of those guys.
Really good to hear. I want to mention the names of the other band members as well. Andrew and Matthew. Matthew was the latest to join the band.
Yeah.
And you knew Andrew years ago, before you even met Chris.
I knew Andrew and Matt. We both went to high school together. We actually played in a band in high school called Slow Motion Explosion. And that sort of fizzled out when we graduated. It was just sort of we did it at the time, and that was cool. But as the time went on, when we were looking for when Chris and I were looking for a more hard rock feel, we went to Andrew, and then before long, Kevin ended up leaving the band, and we needed another guitar player. So Matt was the first person that came to mind, and just sort of worked out that way.
The band's history. What year was it? When did you for Slow Motion?
Slow Motion Explosion was formed. We formed that, I guess, in 2005, 2006. It was basically we just wanted to play, a couple covers here and there, mostly for school functions and stuff. We just sort of wanted to play and get our name out there a little bit, and we didn't really get our name out there, but we sure played a lot of school functions, so it sort of worked out, I guess. But by the time Portnoy was starting to get together and we were starting to figure out what we were going to be called and what the name was and all that, that was close to 2009, the tail end of 2008. So Matt and Andrew and I had stopped playing together for about a year, and I guess that in that year we sort of diversified our sounds, and when we came back, it was just it was brilliant. It worked so well. It really worked so well.
What was the sound of Slow Motion Explosion? How did it compare to?
I would say that Slow Motion Explosion had it was like a weird combination of Green Day meets Rage Against the Machine. It was the weirdest combination, and it sort of worked. And although the band fizzled out, I guess that shows that it sort of didn't at the same time. So. It was cool.
Did you play music in between that? Any of you?
Oh yeah, I was playing in bands in between Slow Motion Explosion and Portnoy. Mostly just filling in for this band needs a guitarist. Can you come in and play rhythm guitar for the night, or that sort of thing. But nothing really permanent. It wasn't. I wasn't finding anything that I really wanted to latch onto. So.
And when you came together with Portnoy and brought your sound together, one of the first places you played as sponsor of CJTR at McNally's.
Yes.
On Wednesday night they have you can perform, bring your band, and they have a series of bands performing every Wednesday night.
Yeah.
That is just an awesome atmosphere.
Oh, it was seriously probably the best place we could have started. We got a chance to sort of see what the scene was like here, because none of us, we were all just hitting legal age here in Regina, so we didn't really know, what the scene was going to be like when we got here. And so when we sort of hit that and we started playing here, we sort of started to realize, what we could do on the platform that we were given here in town. And, we realized the sky really was, the limit. And that's where we started.
And I like what you say, too, in one of the online forums I was able to go on, in public forums, where you give credit to the bands in town here.
Oh, yeah.
Working with the bands.
Absolutely.
It's a good partnership.
Oh, yeah. There are so many bands that we've worked with here that have just blown our minds. We've been so impressed and inspired by the people that we end up playing with.
Which are some of your favorites?
I'm a huge fan of Brain Dead Romeo. They are amazing. I'm also a huge fan of Mejia. In Darkness is great.
Yeah.
Just trying to think of... There's so many that I could just jump off onto here.
Those are some of our favorites as well.
Oh yeah, no, those three are just top notch, and I'm a little bit biased when I say I really like the Voodoo Hounds.